Disturbing images that are emerging this morning. Trains have been torched in many areas of Bihar, whether it's Balia, whether it's Lakhisarai, Samastipur, as well as Buxar. This is a protest of a radical recruitment plan for the armed forces, as army aspirants have disrupted rail as well as road traffic in several parts of Bihar. These are visuals from this morning. Those protests have entered the third day. And it's not just in Bihar, but also trains set on fire in Uttar Pradesh. And protests are taking place in Uttar Pradesh over the new military recruitment policy, Agnipath, as it enters the third consecutive day today. Violent protests have spread to many parts of the country. And there you have visuals of Balia, that's in Uttar Pradesh. And also we have parts of Bihar where protests took place in the morning. And these are visuals from Haryana as well, where protests have taken place this morning. That's a sit-in protest, peaceful protests coming out of Haryana, where people are sitting in protest against the new policies and the new recruitment plan that is being introduced by the government. However, the government did bring about a change in the last 24 hours. Late last night, they had a change of heart and change of mind. They did bring up that upper age limit for the recruitment process under the Agnipath scheme. That's only for this year. That's 2022. They've had a one-year waiver, which was revised late last night to 23 years. Do remember that age limit, the upper age limit was 21, and that's in fact been revised to 23, but that will be effective only for this 1 year before it goes back to 21. Agniveer protesters carried out this protest in Balia in Uttar Pradesh. A mob vandalized the train at the railway station. Hundreds of policemen and railway force personnel, in fact, they tried to push the coaches away from that burning section of a train that was set on fire by Agnipath protesters in the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh. This happened this very morning. And the policemen, very much at risk. They managed to separate the undamaged coaches from the burning section of the train. But before vandalizing the train, the mob also damaged railway station property. And this is before the police could help disperse them. They had to use force, but they managed to disperse the crowd. Large number of people there at the railway station in Balia in Uttar Pradesh this morning. First they got there and they did outnumber the personnel at the railway station, whether it was the railway station personnel or the police. The police was present there from early this morning. They did try to bring it down and they did try to control the situation. They sort of did talk to the protesters. They felt that they had brought the situation under control. But just a little later, we saw that a train at the very railway station was set ablaze. So that is the turn of events this morning, and this is due to those new recruitment plans that are being introduced by the government. The new plan aims to cut down the government's massive salary and pension bills and free up funds to buy arms, which is why they will now only be recruiting people for a contract of 4 years. A 4-year contract that starts at the age of 17 and a half years, going up to 21. That has been revised by the government. They have brought in that change in the very 24 hours of introducing that new recruitment plan. However, that hasn't in fact appeased the protesters at all. We have seen major protests taking place. Those are visuals coming in from Lakhisarai in Bihar, where another train has been set on fire. So we had visuals from Balia first in Bihar, from Uttar Pradesh, and now we have visuals from Bihar, that's Lakhisarai. So now also we have visuals coming in from other parts of Bihar. So it hasn't just stopped. It hasn't been just Balia and Uttar Pradesh and just in fact places. We are seeing many areas, whether it's Buxar, whether it's also dramatic visuals coming there, horrific visuals coming out of Samastipur as well. These are visuals of people protesting against the recruitment plan. They've used lathis to smash glass windows, whether it's of coaches, whether it's cars. They have taken to the streets. They have been at railway stations from early this morning. All these protests started very early this morning against the recruitment plan. Let's just listen in to what Rajnath Singh had to say. He is saying that these changes have been brought about and the Prime Minister is actually trying to get more people to join the defence forces. And that's why this new change in plan.
पिछले 2 साल से सेना में भर्ती की प्रक्रिया न होने के कारण बहुत से नौजवानों को सेना में भर्ती होने का अवसर नहीं मिला। ये सच्चाई है। इसलिए युवाओं के भविष्य को ध्यान में रखते हुए और उनके प्रति संवेदनशीलता दिखाते हुए प्रधानमंत्री जी के अनुमोदन पर सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि अग्निवीरों की भर्ती की आयु सीमा को इस बार बढ़ाकर 21 से 23 वर्ष कर दिया जाए। यह वन टाइम रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया है। इससे बहुत सारे नौजवानों को अग्निवीर बनने की पात्रता स्वतः मिल जाएगी। और मैं यह भी कहना चाहता हूं कि भर्ती प्रक्रिया कुछ ही दिनों में प्रारंभ होने जा रही है। मैं सभी नौजवानों से अपील करता हूं कि सेना में भर्ती होने की वह तैयारी करें और इसका पूरा लाभ उठाएं।
And then we also have Amit Shah putting out a tweet saying the pandemic affected military recruitment in the past 2 years, and that's why they're concerned about the youth. It's the Prime Minister who's taken the considerate decision to increase the upper age limit from 21 to 23 as far as the scheme is concerned in its very first year. Those are the words coming out of Amit Shah saying how this is going to be beneficial to the youth of the country. And there we have Priyanka Gandhi Vadra also in fact saying that this needs to be rolled back, and not even 24 hours after the announcement, the government was forced to revise that very scheme. A hasty drafted policy is being imposed on the youth is what Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is saying. She's asking the Prime Minister to roll back the scheme and also release results for the Air Force recruitments and return to early age limit as far as military jobs are concerned. And then we also have the UP BJP chief who has hit out at the opposition saying first they provoked the farmers and now they're provoking the Jawans. When will all this stop? He's talking about the politics of instigation. And meanwhile, authorities in Haryana have ramped up security measures, and even though Section 144 has been imposed in several parts of Haryana, we do know that they've also snapped the internet services. But Sukirti, as far as Haryana is concerned, we have seen protests have started this morning. However, they've remained peaceful so far.
Well, situation on ground in Rohtak, Haryana, that's where we are coming from. So I am standing right outside the BJP office in Rohtak. Gurnam Singh Charuni, who's a very prominent farmers union leader, played a key role during the farmers protest. He called for this protest outside the BJP office, and the Haryana police taking all precautionary measures with all of these police personnel already deployed outside the BJP office. Heavy barricades placed here, riot control vehicles or the Vajra van as you can see in the background. All of those precautions being taken by the Haryana police. And these are the protesters that have gathered out here on the road. This includes farmer leader Gurnam Singh Charuni, who is at the center of that crowd, as well as all of his supporters, but also more importantly, army aspirants from all across Haryana are here along with this entire group, and we will speak to some of them on what they have to say, how long have they been preparing for entering the army, and what are their voices. सर, सबसे पहले आपसे बात करना चाहेंगे, अपना नाम बताएं।
मेरा नाम अर्शपाल सिंह।
सर, ये बताइए कितने साल से आप या आपके और जान पहचान वाले जो इतने भी लोग हैं, कितने साल से आप लोग आर्मी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, कितना महत्व रखती है ये स्कीम आपके लिए?
मैडम, ऐसा है कि सबसे पहले तो मैं तो उन युवाओं में से हूँ जिनकी एज निकल चुकी है। वो इस कारण क्योंकि साल बाद, 1.5 साल बाद, 2 साल बाद इनकी नौकरी जो है वो निकलती है, उस वजह से हमारी एज जो है उस टाइम में निकल जाती है। और जो हमारे साथ के युवा हैं, ये जितने युवा बैठे हैं, कोई 4 साल से, कोई 3 साल से ऐसी तैयारी में मिलिट्री की लगे हुए हैं जी। अभी कल भी एक लड़के ने आत्महत्या की है इसी जब से ये आदेश जारी हुआ है जी। तो बहुत ही नीच आदेश है ये सरकार का युवाओं के लिए, और नंबर 2 बात देश की सुरक्षा के लिए। देश की सुरक्षा के लिए इस चीज को हम अपनी जान पे खेल के कभी भी लागू नहीं होने देंगे। बीजेपी सरकार जितना मर्जी अपना जोर लगा ले, ये कानून लागू नहीं होगा जी।
We'll also try and get a few more voices. सर, अपना नाम बताएं।
नवीन कुमार।
नवीन जी, ये बताइए कितने साल से तैयारी कर रहे हैं आर्मी?
4 साल से कर रहा हूँ।
4 साल से तैयारी कर रहे हैं। रहने वाले कहाँ के हैं? अपना थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड बताइए, कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं? आपके माता पिता क्या करते हैं? क्या उनमें से भी कोई आर्मी में है?
मैं शिवाना का रहने वाला हूँ। जज्जर डिस्ट्रिक्ट है मेरी तहसील बेरी है मैम। गरीब परिवार से हूँ मैम।
माता पिता क्या करते हैं?
पापा किसान और माँ घर का काम करती है, हाउस वाइफ है मैम।
जी, आपकी उम्र क्या है?
21 साल हो चुकी है मैम।
21 साल है, तो आप एलिजिबल हैं अग्निपथ में हिस्सा लेने के लिए, पर क्योंकि 21 तक तो अलाउ कर रहे हैं और अब इस बार के लिए वन टाइम बेसिस पे 23 वालों को भी अलाउ कर रहे हैं, तो आप लोगों को क्या दिक्कत है सरकार की स्कीम से?
स्कीम से ये दिक्कत है मैम, हमारी ज़्यादा वो इतने साल हो गए मैम, भर्ती नहीं आई अब तक, और आई है तो ये निकाल दी मैम उम्र सभी बच्चों की मैम।
तो आपको उम्र की टेंशन है?
उम्र की भी टेंशन है मैम, और ये 4 साल की कर दी मैम, इसको वापिस लो।
तो आप चाह रहे थे कि 4 साल के आगे भी आपको सेना में काम करने दिया जाता, कोई आपके पास जॉब सिक्योरिटी होती?
यस मैम।
ऐसा है
आप और लोगों से जानना चाहेंगे। सर, आप अपना नाम बताएं।
नीतीश,
कितने साल से तैयारी कर रहे हैं आर्मी?
3 साल से।
कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं?
सोनपत का।
क्या उम्र है आपकी?
20 साल।
अच्छा, बाकी आपके माता पिता कोई आर्मी में है आपके घर परिवार में से?
गरीब परिवार से हूँ मैं, पापा एक्सपायर हो रहे हैं।
अच्छा,
गरीब परिवार से हूँ, आर्मी की तैयारी कर रहा थी मैडम, 3-4 साल हो रही है। और क्या करेंगे हम, गरीब परिवार वाला बड़ा क्या करेगा।
आपके घर में और कोई कमाने वाला है, कोई भाई बहन?
दादा फौज में थे, उस पेंशन तक काम चल रहा है।
तो आपके दादाजी फौज में थे, उनकी पेंशन से अब तक काम चल रहा है। तो आपको क्या ये बात खटकती है कि इस अग्निपथ स्कीम में पेंशन को लेकर के भी कई सवाल उठ रहे हैं कि पेंशन नहीं मिलेगी 4 साल बाद, कोई सिस्टम नहीं है?
सारे खटका जी, क्या करेगा, फौजी उल्टा आ गए हैं, फौजी उल्टा क्या करेगा 4 साल बाद, सारी खटका बात है, सारी बात खटक रही मैडम, क्या करेगा, फौजी उल्टा आ गए हैं, घर में क्या करेगा उल्टा आ गए, ये बताओ आप।
और आप सोनीपत से हैं, पर यहाँ पे क्या रोहतक में कोचिंग वगैरह कर रहे थे तैयारी?
कोचिंग कर रहा मैं, ये मैं 2 साल प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था मैं।
तो ये सब कोचिंग में आपकी पढ़ाई का खर्चा, पीजी में रहने का खर्चा, ये सब कैसे निकलता है आपका?
हम घर परिवार देते हैं, पैसे उठा के मैंने देते हैं, ब्याज पे उठा के देते हैं, कितने चुकाएंगे मैम ये घर के ब्याज।
धन्यवाद सर हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए। सो अ वेरी extreme example of how difficult it is for youngsters in Haryana and how important schemes that pertain to recruitment in the army are. The youngster that we just spoke to in his early 20s comes from a family where his father passed away several years ago. His grandfather was in the army. It's because of his grandfather's army pension that the household has been able to manage and survive so far. He's been preparing here in Rohtak in a coaching through living in a PG. He's already spent money for 2 years, has been preparing for it. But his contention with the scheme is that what will he do after those 4 years after he has served in the army? While the government, however, has been coming out with various clarifications saying that all of these youngsters like these will get prominence, will be favored in various state police recruitments as well as paramilitary recruitments. But as of this point, there is a lot of anger and a lot of tension when it comes to many of these aspirants.